working on a map scaling worksheet. And if you've forgotten, scaling is when you create a larger or smaller version of something in the real world. And this worksheet is a smaller version of the United States of America. It's like a small map. So it's a scaled down version. And before we start, we're going to be covering miles on this worksheet, not kilometers. So if you're looking for kilometers, look at the other video. So again, we're doing miles here. So let's take a look at the directions. The directions say, Super Dude plans on taking a much needed vacation and wants to visit a few famous landmarks in the USA. So that's why we have a scaled down version of the United States of America. However, he cannot remember exactly where each one is located and the distance between each location. So as you can see, there's stars here and there, and these stars represent famous landmarks in the United States of America. Use the map and scale above. Here's the scale right over here. And remember, we're only doing miles on this worksheet, to help him find the landmarks and calculate the approximate distance he'll need to travel. There's a key, approximate, or an estimate. In other words, it doesn't have to be exact. Also, draw a line to connect the locations in each problem so he will know where to go and be able to better plan his vacation. So if you can, you should use different colors so you won't get confused. I personally am probably going to erase each one of mine so I can go over each problem very clearly. But you, the directions say you need to connect each one with lines, or connect the different landmarks with lines. And again, I think you should use different colors. Probably look pretty cool, and it'll be easier for you to figure it out. It says, note, ask your teacher if he or she wants the answers in miles or kilometers. And as I told you before, we are going to do miles on this worksheet. Alrighty, well, let me clean this up really quick. Okay, we're nice and clean. Now, before we start, I actually noticed a problem with this worksheet. And let me show you what I'm talking about. When you look at this, it says right here that 2 centimeters equals 300 miles. So some of you might want to pull out your ruler, and you know every 2 centimeters equals 300 miles. But the thing was, I printed this out 3 different times on 3 different printers, and it actually came out a little different each time. As you can see, this one's perfect. See? 2 centimeters equals 300 miles. So I don't want you to get confused or maybe get in trouble because the worksheet was not printed out correctly. So I decided to create my own ruler. And what I did was I took a piece of paper and I folded it like this. And once I folded it, I lined it up to our little chart right here. And I started making little marks for every single 100 miles. There's 100 miles, there's 200 miles, there's another 100 miles, there's 300 miles, which is another 100 miles. And I kept on moving the piece of paper down, and I kept on marking every 100 miles. 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles. And I did this throughout the entire piece of paper that I folded. So basically, I created my own little ruler, so that way it matches the worksheet. So quickly, make a piece of paper like I showed you and mark every 100 miles on it like I did. And again, if you were confused, check out what I did. See, I started right here on this little red line right here, and then I marked every 100 miles. There's 100 miles there, there's 200 miles there, and there's another 300 miles there. But each one from here to here is 100 miles. From here to here is 100 miles. From here to here is 100 miles. So basically, you can take your ruler that you made yourself you can connect the landmarks and just count the lines, and every line equals 100 miles. And I actually think that'll be easier and less of a chance of making mistakes if you do it that way. All right, again, take a couple minutes and make your little ruler and mark it off like I did, and I'll see you in a bit. So welcome back. So you have a ruler that you made yourself that kind of looks like this. And see, I marked all the lines, and if I line it up really quick, every line is about 100 miles. Again, remember, the worksheet says approximate. So it doesn't have to be exact, it just has to be close enough to give us an approximate or an estimated answer how far Super Dude has to fly from one landmark or one place to another. So let's get started. Let me get this ruler out of the way. Let's look at problem number 1. Problem number 1 says he plans to start his vacation from the Statue of Liberty, which is located on Liberty Island in New York City, which is approximately right there. Do you see that? And wants to go to Hollywood to visit the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The Hollywood Walk of Fame is where the stars are permanently placed on the sidewalks in Hollywood, California to recognize the famous entertainers in the world. And Hollywood, California is right there. On the way, he wants to fly over the Grand Canyon National Park for a quick peek. And the Grand Canyon National Park is in Arizona, which is about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line these landmarks up. So it looks something like that. And all I have to do is count how many spaces we're going each time. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it's a little less than 24 lines. And I told you each line was 100. So that would be 2,400. You see how I added the 2 zeros to represent 100? So all you do is count the lines and add 2 zeros. And it's approximately 2,400. Now, if you look closely, you could say, oh, wait a second, it's less than 24. Well, you could change this. You could change this to 2,380. You could change it to 2,390. And these are all estimates you could use. You can use 2,400, 2,380, 2,390. Again, it's an approximation. I think I'm just going to use 2,400 and make it simple. So I'm going to write 2,400 miles. Don't forget to label your answer miles. So I'm going to put miles right there. You can be more specific if you like, because you can clearly see it's less than 24 lines. But I'm just using an approximation or an estimation. Alrighty? And as you can see, as you can see, we also went over the Grand Canyon. So we finished problem number 1. I think I explained it fairly decent. You can understand how to do it. What I'd like you to do is try to do problems number 2 and number 3. And when you finish, come back to me and we'll check your answers. By the way, if you don't know where something is, hey, you know what? You have the internet, you have a book, you have your mom, you have a friend, you have the dog. You can ask somebody where these locations are and help you out. All right, so don't say, I didn't know where it was and I couldn't do it. At least give it a try and try to find out where they're at. All righty, so I will see you in a bit and we will go over your answers. All right, welcome back. you were supposed to do problems 2 and 3. So problem 2, after Hollywood, he will go to the Alamo to visit the site of the great 1836 battle for freedom in Texas, so it must be located right there. So he's going to go from California, or Hollywood, to San Antonio, Texas. So let me put a little ruler right in there. And you see I already lined it up and it's all ready to go. It will be a great history lesson. However, he also wants something new and fun and will later head over to the largest mall in the USA, Mall America, to ride SpongeBob SquarePants Rock Bottom Plunge. And the USA Mall of America is located in Bloomington, Minnesota. And as you can see, there's Minnesota right there, so it must be right here because it's the only star in Minnesota. So again, I'd put another ruler going from there to there. But before I put that ruler in, let me count how far it will be to travel from Hollywood, California to San Antonio, Texas. Let's count these lines again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And as you can see, again, it's a little less than 12. So it's up to you how you want to do it. You could say it's a little less than 12. You could say it's 12. It's just an estimate. So you don't have to be perfect. Remember, if I write 12, all I do is add 2 zeros, which makes 1,200 miles. And if I think it's a little less, maybe I could write 1,190 miles, or maybe 1,180 miles. It's up to you because it's an approximation. I think I'm going to go with 1,190 miles on this one. Okay, let me erase this to make sure it's all cleaned up. So after San Antonio, Texas, he is going to go up to Minnesota. So there's my ruler right there connecting the two locations. Let me get rid of this one. And again, all I'm going to do is count. Not that difficult, huh? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And as you can see, it is clearly less than 11. So basically, it's 1,100 miles if it's 11, because I'm just going to add 2 zeros. But since it's smaller, I think maybe I'll go down to maybe 1,000, let's say 80 miles. And again, this is just an estimate. It's not exact. So all I'm going to do is add these two together. So I'm going to do 1,190 plus 1,080. And I am going to get 0 plus 0 is 0. 9 plus 8 is 7. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. And you get 1 plus 1 is 2, which gives us 2,270 miles. 2,270 miles. Let me clean this up really quick. All right. Problem 3. Super Dude knows he'll be pumped up after the ride and wants to continue his adventure south to New Orleans, where he can try Cajun food and stay up all night listening to jazz music. Well, if you didn't know, New Orleans is located in Louisiana, and Louisiana is right there. So he is going to go from Minnesota to Louisiana. I'm going to put a little ruler right there connecting them. But before I do that, let me finish reading the question. After all the spices and flavor, he thinks some water might be a good idea and plans to visit Niagara Falls. And Niagara Falls is located near Buffalo, New York. It's the great, popular, one of the more famous waterfalls in the United States. Be located right here. So then he would go from Louisiana or New Orleans to New York, which the ruler would cover there. We'd have two rulers that look like this, and I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm just going to count the lines. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the next one is 11. So it looks like it's almost exactly between 10 and 11. So I think I'm going to put 1,050. And if you didn't figure that out, remember, each line is worth 100. If I had 10 and I had 11, which I said it was in between, I just add 2 zeros. So it's actually between 1,000 and 1,100, which is where I got my 1,050, right in the middle. I'm going to erase this really quick. Give me 1 second. And after New Orleans, Louisiana, he is going to go see Niagara Falls. So again, I need to count the lines, and I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A little less than 11, so it would be between 10 and 11. Add the 2 zeros, so it's actually between 1,000 and 1,100, but we're really close to 1,100, so I think maybe I'll put 1,080. Now, if you didn't want to do this, you can use 1,100 because it says approximation and it doesn't have to be exact. I'm just trying to make the answer a little closer. So if I add this up really quick, let me change the color. If I add this up really quick, I get 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 5 is 3. Carry the 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. And then I get 1 plus 1 is 2. So I'm going to get 2,130 miles. 2,130 miles. Again, don't forget to label your answer miles. And that would cover problem 2 and 3. By the way, really quick, some of you might be thinking, why are you counting all the lines? You already know, because you've already done this a few times, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that this is 10. You can always write a 10 right there so you don't have to count every single time. But since I'm using different rulers over and over again and using the computer, I'm just counting them. If you think I'm going too slow and you think this worksheet is too easy, you don't have to listen to me, then you can do the worksheet on your own. I'm here to help the people that need help. And if I'm going too fast, you can always press pause and rewind and listen to me, and you can go as slow as possible. And that's what's so great about having a video. I want you to do problems 4, 5, and 6 on your own. When you're finished, come back to me and we will check your answers. See you in a bit. All right, welcome back. You were supposed to do 4, 5, and 6 on your own. Number 4, after the falls, he thinks another rush will be perfect and plans to visit Yellowstone National Park to watch the buffalo run free. Well, Yellowstone National Park is located in Wyoming and a little bit of Montana and Idaho. So he is going from here, Niagara Falls, to, oh, there's Wyoming, so it must be right here, Yellowstone National Park. And again, you would use your ruler to connect those points, just like that. But before I do that, let's look where else he's going. It says, later, Super Dude will say hello to George Thomas Theodore Abraham at Mount Rushmore. And if you don't know, Mount Rushmore is located in the Black Hills of South Dakota. It's where they carved the faces of the famous presidents into the wall to show a little respect. And where is South Dakota? South Dakota's right here, so it must be right here. So after we go to Yellowstone National Park, we'd connect a line to Mount Rushmore. So before I put the Mount Rushmore in, let's count the lines from Niagara Falls to Yellowstone. So we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And it looks almost exactly 15, so I'm going to use 15 as my answer. And then I just add 2 zeros to make 1,500 because each line is worth 100. If you get confused with what I'm talking about, you can always just say 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500. I was just trying to do a shortcut and then add 2 zeros afterwards. So let me clean that up really quick before we go to Mount Rushmore. So now we're going to Mount Rushmore. So we need another ruler to connect from Yellowstone National Park to Mount Rushmore. And we're going to count 1, 2, 3. It's just a little more than 3, and 3 would be 300. So I'd say maybe what? 310, 320. Let's just stick to 310. So I'm going to put 310 right here. And I add this up. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 5 plus 3 is 8. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So it'd be 1,810 miles he would have to travel to see these landmarks. 1,810 miles. Let me clean this up really quick again. Problem number 5. Problem 5 says he wants to finish his sightseeing of the West Coast and plans to visit the Space Needle, which was built for the 1962 World's Fair and is located in Seattle, Washington. So he is going to go from Mount Rushmore to the Space Needle, which is located in Washington, which is right there. So he's going to go there. Then it says he wants to see the Golden Gate Bridge, which is one of the longest and most beautiful suspension bridges in the world. And that is located in San Francisco, California. So he's going to go from Washington to San Francisco, California. Then after that, he wants to go to Las Vegas, which is famous for its shows. And Las Vegas is located in Nevada. You know, what's the saying?
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
So he's going to go right here to Las Vegas, Nevada. All right. So we need to get out our little rulers and measure the distance from one landmark or one point to another. So let's get our first ruler out for problem 5. And he's going from South Dakota to Washington. Let me clean this up a little so it's not so messy. Let's start counting. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a little more than 9, so you could put 900 if you like, or you could put 910 if you like. Completely up to you, because again, we're just estimating. I think I'll put 910 for our distance. Let me write it right here so we can keep track. And that was the first part of his journey. Then after that, let me clean this up really quick to get rid of these lines so we can follow it. After that, he's going to go to San Francisco to go see the Golden Gate Bridge. So we need to line up our ruler like that. And again, we just count. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's between 6 and 7, almost exactly between 6 and 7. Remember, 6 would be 600 and 7 would be 700. So you guessed it. I think 650 would probably be a great answer to use. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to write 650 miles for that part of the trip. After San Francisco, he's going to head to Las Vegas. So we need to connect a ruler to those 2 different points. So we count the lines again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is a little less than 4. I don't know, maybe it's between 300 and 400, but closer to 400. So maybe 370, 380. Again, it's an estimate. It's up to you. If you just want to say, man, I just want to do this easy, let's do 400. Hey, you know what? Your teacher can't say anything because it says approximately. And that's a fairly decent estimate. I think I'm going to go with 380 because, again, this is 100, 200, 300, and the next line is 400, but we don't reach it, so you probably about 380. Let me get that ruler out of the way, and I'm going to write 380 here, and all we do is add them again to get the total distance this part of his trip is going to take. And if I add them, I am going to get 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. I'm going to get 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 8 is 14. Carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 6 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So I'm going to get 1,940 miles. 1,940 miles. This is only an estimate. It's not exact. So maybe your friend, maybe your teacher, maybe your dog, maybe the cat will get a different answer. But it's probably good enough because it's an approximation. You're just helping Super Dude get an idea how far he has to go to each landmark and show him where the landmarks are. So remember, make sure you're keeping your lines. I know I'm erasing mine, but make sure you're keeping your lines. It would probably be really cool if you had different colors, and it would make your worksheet look really nifty schmifty. Nifty schnifty.
What a dork.
All right. Last problem, I think, right? Problem number 6. We are going to do problem number 6, which is the last problem. Let me clean this up really quick. Problem number 6, you could probably start looking at it before I'm even finished cleaning this up. Problem 6, it says he plans on saying hello to his friend Elvis Presley at Graceland. Graceland is located in Memphis, Tennessee. If you don't know who Elvis Presley is, here's a little
Sample for you.
Oh, he lived a very quiet life. I did no wrong.
So we're going to Memphis, Tennessee, which is right here. And we're coming from Las Vegas, so right there. Las Vegas to Memphis, Tennessee. After Memphis, Tennessee, it says, and stopping at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, and that's Huntsville, Alabama. That's one of the first places we started building rockets. I've been there. It's pretty cool to see the giant rockets and realize how small we really are. So we are going to Memphis, Tennessee, to Huntsville, Alabama. Oh, it's just a little skip and a jump. Probably Super Dude can just skip over there really quick. Skip! He doesn't have to fly. So we are going to Huntsville, Alabama. And then it says after Huntsville, Alabama, finally, he wants to get some sun in Key West. Hopefully he doesn't get too much sun because he might get skin cancer, but I guess Super Dude's so strong he won't get skin cancer. And Key West are a bunch of islands in southern Florida. So there's Florida, so there's the south, so it has to be right there. So after Alabama, he is going to Key West. Then it says for his final part of the journey, he's going to end his vacation relaxing at the White House. Hanging out with the president, having a couple drinks on the lawn. Pretty relaxing. So the White House is located in Washington, D.C., which is right about there. And of course, if you didn't know, Washington, D.C. is the capital of the United States of America. So we need to calculate all these distances. Woo-wee, what a final problem. Let me clean this up a little bit so it's not too messy. So he's going from Las Vegas to Memphis, Tennessee. So I'm going to get out the ruler right there, and I'm going to count some lines. And if I count some lines, let's see, let's count some lines. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. I think that's almost perfect. So I personally am going to use 1,400 miles for that part of the trip. Let me erase the rest of it so it's not too confusing. After that, it said he was going to go from Memphis to Huntsville, Alabama. So let me get rid of that ruler right there and add another ruler in, and we will count the lines again. So we're going to go 1, 2, or 100, 200. As you can clearly see, we're less than 200. I'd say, I don't know, maybe 170. Again, it's just an estimate, so I think I'm going to pick 170 for that part of the journey. If you said, no way, it's 180.
Well, fine, dude. You can pick 180. Again, it's just an estimate.
So, but I decided to pick 170 for my estimate. Let me clean that up really quick. After that, he's going to go to Key West in Florida. Let me get rid of that ruler and add another ruler back in. And we're going to count the lines again. I'm just going to help you out. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. Just a little more than 700. Maybe 720, 730. Let's go with 700. I'd like to say 730, but maybe let's go with 720. All right. Let me erase that one. Clean it up a little bit. And after Key West, it said he was going to go hang out with the Prez at the White House. I'll get rid of that ruler and put this ruler in, and we will count the lines again. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's between 900 and 1,000, almost exactly. So I think I'm just going to go with 950. 950. Okay. I'm going to add this up. Sorry, it's going to be in the writing. Let me write it down there. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 2 is 9. Plus 5 is 14. Carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. Plus 7 is 13. Plus 9 is 22. Carry the 2. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So it becomes 3,240 miles. I'm just going to write it right here. 3,240 miles. 3,240 miles. All right. And guess what? We are finished. I hope I helped, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.